This is class 87 of the Golden Doves. We are on the bottom of page 45. It will get easier one day, but not today. We're still in really difficult material, but at the same time, profound material. Again, we're looking at the internal structures of grammar and syntax and what that tells us about Hebrew epistemology. So we're gonna read today some very precise observations about grammatical structures. I don't think we will do the conclusions, what we learned from those grammatical structures. That'll probably be in class 88 of the Golden Doves. But for now, I want to describe these grammatical structures, the conclusions for the next class. So here we go. Bottom of page 45. This is my father's book, of course. It's not me, it's my father. Okay. The subject of the verb is the function of pronominal suffixes. What that means that in Hebrew, when you have a verb like to eat, right? The subject, meaning the person doing the eating, there is a pronominal suffix, meaning at the end of the word, you add some letters to describe the pronoun, the person doing the eating. So you can say ani achalti. Achalti means ti. Achalti means I'm the one who's doing the pronoun is first person. Achalta. Achalta means the second person is eating, right? So the pronominal suffix tells us who's doing the eating, first or second person. In the perfect, the first two persons as subject of the verb are indicated by the suffixes ti and ta. When the action is complete, past tense, again we say achalti. The ti means first person. Achalta. The ta means second person. For instance, my father brings a more dramatic example. Harakti. I killed. Right? And harakta. You killed. Comprise the verbal stem harag. So you have the verbal stem, which is harag, which is killed. And then you have the pronominal suffixes ti and ta. Now, if you look at the structure of the word harag ti or harag ta, right? It's very interesting, the syntax in Hebrew, resulting in killed I, right? Interesting. In English, you say I killed, right? Or he killed, or she killed. In Hebrew, it's killed I. First you say the action, and then you mention the subject. And killed you, or harakta. You killed. In English, you would say you killed. In Hebrew, you would say killed you, right? The object of the verb is the function of ni, first person, and cha, second person. Now, you can have a suffix at the end of the verb, which is there to designate the object of the action, not the subject of the action. So the subject is who's doing the killing, and the object is who's getting killed. So you can also have a suffix which is there to describe the object, right? So the verb haragti cha. Haragti means I killed. When you add cha at the end, it means I killed you. Cha means I, the first person, killed the second person. And haragta ni. Haragta, we said harag is the verbal stem, ta is the pronominal suffix indicating that the second person is the subject. Ni, haragta ni means that it's the second person, the ni at the end means the object of the killing is the first person. So haraktani. So in English it would be you killed me, right? Comprises three elements. So you have the verbal stem harag, the subjects of the verb ti and ta, and the objects of the verb ni and cha, resulting in, and listen how that works in Hebrew. In English I would say I killed you, or you killed me. In Hebrew, I killed you is haragti cha. So harag means killed, I, you. Or you killed me would say, haragtani, right? So if we translated it literally, killed you me. You see how very interesting how the syntax of different languages is structured. The syntax of one language is structured differently than the syntax of another language. The e and the ha are suffixes to nouns and convey the sense of the genitive. So we say haraktani, right? Or harakticha. You also have e and ha, right? The e is a suffix to a noun. A genitive means a possessive noun. So for example, koli. What does koli mean? That's a noun. We're not dealing with verbs. Okay, so we did the verbs, right? Let's go to nouns now. When you say koli, my voice. So you have kol, which is the noun. Li, e, adding it means my voice. That's the genitive, the possessive, right? And kolecha, your voice. The cha at the end of kol is the genitive referring to the second person. So my voice, koli, your voice, kolecha, comprise the noun kol, voice, and the suffixes e and cha. Right? Koli is one suffix, e, cha is another suffix, resulting in voice me. Now in English you would say my voice. In English you would say your voice. In Hebrew it's koli, voice me, right? Or kolecha, voice you. Interesting. The following is a chart of the pronouns just discussed. Maybe what I will do is, I don't know if it can be done. Can I take a picture of this chart and maybe use it as a thumbnail, or can I put it in the description? I'm not sure. I'll see if I can use this picture. But you have a chart here, it's a table, where you have first person, second person, right? And then for the first person and second person, you're going to have different grammatical structures. You're going to have the subject of the verb. So the subject of the verb in the first person, how do we describe? We said it's a pronominal subject. We said achal ti. So the subject is ti. Achal ta. The subject of the second person is ta, right? Then we have the possessive form, right? Like in koli, right? My voice, it's e. In the case of second person, it's kolecha. Ha. Okay. Let's go to the next column over, right? Independent pronoun is the next column. How do you say for first person? Ani. How do you say second person? Ata. And then finally you have the object of the verb, right? When you said he killed me, so me, you would have the harakta, or no, you killed me. It would be haraktani. You would have ni. Or second person, harakticha, where the object is the second person. I killed you. Harakticha. Right? So that's the object. Now there's something very interesting. If you look at this chart, I mean, if there's a way to, you're going to need to actually look at it. I will try to put this in the description, but I don't know if you can put a photo in the description. Maybe it'll be on the thumbnail. All right. Thus, there is a fundamental asymmetry between the subject of the verb of the first and second person. Now look at the subject of the verb of first and second person. Achalti. The pronominal suffix is ti, achal ta. The pronominal suffix is ta, right? Ti, ta. There's an asymmetry there. Because if you listen, the subject of the second person is just a shorter form of the independent pronoun ata. So when you say ata, achal ta, the ta is actually just repeating ata, right? The aleph falls off. So achal ta means ta, second person, ate, right? But that's not what you have in the first person. In the first person, you say achal ti. You don't say achal ni. Why don't you say achal ni? If you have achal ta, then you should have achal ni. But you don't have that, right? It is the object of the verb ni, not the subject as the second person. Where do you have ni? You would have ni in haraktani. You killed me. Then you have the ni, which refers to the first person, right? So when the first person is an object, it's ni. You have it from the pronoun ani, you have ni. When the first person is an object, right? Right? Therefore, the pronominal subject of the second person, right? That's the ta, achalta, it's a pronominal subject, suffix, right? Is correlative to the pronominal object of the first person. It's like the object pronoun ni of the first person. So there is some sort of relationship between subject of second person, achalta, where you take the actual pronoun, and object of first person, haraktani, where the ni is from the ani, but there it's as an object. So there's some sort of relationship between subject second person, object first person. That's crazy stuff, by the way, for those of you who are actually still watching this. Right. And the relation between the persons is that of a subject to an object. Interesting. So the relationship between second person and first person is the relationship of a subject, a person doing an action, to an object, a person receiving an action. The second person does not have an equivalent to the first person T, right? You don't, again, first person when he's the subject, you say achalti. Second person, no, achalta. It expresses subjectivity by using ta, a derivative of a pronoun expressing objectivity. So how do you express the subjectivity of the second person? You take the pronoun ata, which in that pronoun, the second person is actually an object, right? And you use that object pronoun, right, or the part of the object pronoun, to express the subjectivity of the second person, in that he becomes a subject because he's doing something. That's remarkable, right? I'm going to read that again, the last few sentences. Therefore, the pronominal subject of the second person, right, the ta of haragta. I'm sorry, no. Yeah, haragta, that's a pronominal subject of the second person, is correlative to the pronominal object of the first person, where the first person is the object. And when he's the subject, because when he's the subject, it's achalti. It should be achalni, but it's not. But when he's an object, haragtani, you have it, right? You have the ni as an object. So here you see that the second person is ultimately expressed as an object, even when he's actually a subject of the sentence. The second person does not have an equivalent to the first person T, right? The first person T, ani achal T, the T is there to express absolute subjectivity of the subject, which is the first person. You don't have that in the second person. It expresses subjectivity, in the case of the second person, by using ta, which makes the second person always an object, a derivative of a pronoun expressing objectivity. Whoa. Okay. I'm actually going to continue. I said this is going to be the next class, but you can't stop in the middle like that. The asymmetry between ti and ta, so this asymmetrical treatment of first person being a subject of a sentence, haragti, I killed, and second person being a subject of a sentence, haragta, there's an asymmetry. You see that in the way the structure of the languages, right? Reflects the absolute distinction between the perspectives of the first and second person. Here you see that there is a complete chasm, or not chasm, I don't like that word, that there is a complete distinction between first and second person, right? That's really important for Hebrew epistemology. Even between first and second person, they are distinct entities. Now, because in Gentile thinking, and a lot of Jews today also, I mean, who doesn't think like Gentiles anymore? But in Gentile thinking, people become subsumed into each other. If I have like the Rebbe talks to me, there is no second person in that case. He's a Rebbe. And I become subsumed. I automatically accept what the Rebbe says, uncritically. Right? So there, the second person is subsumed in the first person. This happens all the time with dictators and demagogues, where they speak, and everyone is enthralled by what the demagogue has to say, right? So that's not. So there is no absolute distinction anymore, right? Whereas different individuals may perceive a given object from the perspective of the first person, no one may perceive another person as an E. Okay, I think we're going to stop here and continue next class.